And welcome to Positive Talk Radio, everybody. My name is Kevin McDonald. Rochelle is right here. And Rochelle, today we're going to talk about a man. He's an author. He's a TEDx speaker. He is a consultant, and he helps people do what exactly?
Todd Krause, who we're going to be able to join in here in the next hour, is he started silversunconsulting.com. So make sure you follow along. There's case studies, speaking, media, books, and more about him. But Kevin, if I'm not wrong, he's helping people realize something we talk about, maybe a little bit of business being people business, and also going through some health things in your own life and getting through those so that you can achieve the things that maybe you want.
It's an amazing story, and we're going to get right into it in just a second. We'll be right back. There's a moment in every life when you decide to rise.
To stand taller than your fear.
To speak louder than your doubt.
To chase the vision that sets your soul on fire.
This is that moment. And here we walk it together with stories that awaken, voices that inspire,
and truths that set you free.
This is Positive Talk Radio with Kevin
and with Rochelle,
where hope has a voice.
And that voice is yours.
And welcome to the show, everybody. We've got a great guest for you today. And if I would highly suggest that you get a piece of paper and a pencil out and take some notes, because this is going to be a noteworthy show, I must say. And Todd Krause is with us. Krause is the correct way to pronounce that, is it not, sir?
We typically say Krause.
Krause.
Very good. So the E is not silent in this particular case.
No, we do use it.
Yeah, so sorry for not asking that in the beginning. Me and Kevin usually do that, but we were pretty confident. So I love that we got to figure out it was something unusual, and is your name. But Todd, it is really spectacular to have you here because, as Kevin mentioned, your story is unique, right? Like a lot of ours is. And you got to start something that is helping people do extraordinary things. I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about where it came from.
I'm sorry, say that again, please. Tell
us just a little bit about how Silversun came to be.
I was having a lot of success growing the cleaning authority in Fishers, Indiana. People kept asking, well, how do you do what you do? And why does, even though it seems so simple, why does it work so well? And then the more I thought about it, the more I thought I really would like to spread that message about how human dignity and profit are not mutually exclusive. In fact, they actually can work together very effectively. And I'd like to spread that to a larger audience and really see if we can change the relationship between business and the people who work for the businesses.
Yeah, well, it's an honor to have you here to do that.
That's really where the idea came from. And then I've gradually built it outward, starting with the TEDx talk. And I've gotten some help along the way with figuring out what direction to go and how to take it. And that's been the whole foundation of Silversun Consulting and what I do now.
Awesome.
And I would have to say, if you are a business owner and you're listening to this, or an entrepreneur, or somebody who is thinking about being an entrepreneur or thinking about owning a business, I must say that one of the things that is foundational, and Todd found this when he took over the cleaning company, that his turnover was high. He had lots of people that didn't show up and lots of managers that were unhappy. And he recognized, and correct me if I'm wrong, Todd, but you recognized that by lowering turnover, improving the experience of the people that work with you and giving them the ability to really grow in their business, turnover went down, productivity went up. And so a lot of that money, and this is instructive for some, That money went to the bottom line. And so if the bottom line is what you're interested in, and you're in a business that involves other human beings, you're in a people business. Am I correct in that, sir?
You are absolutely correct. And yes, it drops straight to the bottom line. Just to put that into perspective, we're operating north of $4 million a year in revenue with the cleaning business, but our operating expenses have dropped over 8%. That's an additional $320,000 a year in profit. So there's real financial incentives behind this to pay attention and to care about how it works. But I always say, if you don't know what to do with $320,000, we'll be happy to help you figure it out.
Yes.
Well, the thing about that is that you have done nothing other than lower turnover and improve productivity because you have a happier workforce, which, by the way, translates into a happier home life, and the ripple effect can be profound to family and friends of the individuals that work for you. Have you found that to be true, sir?
Oh, absolutely. The stress levels are so much lower. When I took over, they used to, every morning, they would be lecturing each of the teams about what they did wrong the previous day. And don't do that again, and don't break this, and make sure you don't miss anything. That's completely gone. We changed that culture. I haven't had one of those discussions in years. Cleaners come in, they get their equipment, they get their papers for the day, their chemicals, off they go. It is a night and day different experience.
Now,
all the time with complaints, and it stops. We don't get that anymore.
Well, and it takes a certain kind of leader, which is what I would consider you to be, in order to make that transition from where it was to where it is, because you've doubled sales or more. And so you took a smaller company, and now you're not a smaller company, but it took your vision. Where did that vision come from?
It really goes all the way back to the way my father ran his business. He had a trucking business hauling milk from the farms to the dairy. If the farmers didn't meet certain quality standards, cleanliness standards, they got shut down by the inspector. So he would go and he would clean if necessary, fix things that were broken. We would literally go and help shovel snow off the roofs of sheds in the winter so they wouldn't collapse under the weight of the snow. And it was always this doing a little extra, leaving things better than you found them, that carried through over and over again. Plus, it was just this valuing the people that you work with and seeing them as important human beings with something to say, something meaningful.
Yeah.
And I brought those values.
Well, and so bless your dad for doing that, because that's not an easy thing to do, and then to keep it running, and he didn't have the attitude like, well, if they can't shovel the roof, then that's their problem. It suddenly became his problem because he needed to keep the wheels rolling. And speaking of rolling, we've got a guy who's in his truck somewhere around here, Burchell.
Yes, Gowdy 1971 says, good afternoon. He happens to be my dad. Hey, Dad, thank you so much for being here. I love you. He has been a truck driver all my life. Todd as well, same story. And he's been trying to get me to start a cleaning company for actually so many years. And really the biggest reason I didn't want to play that game doing it was because I was a cleaner once. And, when I had my bad days and you have to go clean somebody's house and how that plays out, but also the quality of people who care about cleaning someone else's space. You're not just there to wipe things around, spread a bunch of dirt, make it look shiny and leave. You have to have what you were saying, integrity and all those things in mind when you're working on that, because you're in somebody's home space. So how is your process when you're finding the right people and making sure that maybe you're not hiring people that'll be there for 2 days? and all those fun things.
There's just an idea that there's these right people and these wrong people out in the world there. And the right people in today's view tends to be what's their credentials, what's their education, how many letters do they have after their name. And I say you're looking at the wrong thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's really about attitude and desire. With somebody with the right attitude and the desire to succeed will go so far in the world today. Skills can always be trained. Technical stuff can always be trained. But trying to convince somebody who doesn't really want to do the work, doesn't really care, and turn them into a person who cares, that's difficult. Mm-hmm. So that's what we look for. We look for attitude. We look for desire to get out there and work rather than credentials.
Yeah.
And by the way, Todd, there was a special guest who just barked her way in or his way into, what's your dog's name?
We have a Japanese Spitz named Sophie. And believe it or not, we found her at a shelter on the southwest side of town. A rare breed to begin with, and then find them at a shelter. How unusual is that?
Was she a puppy?
No, she was about 3 years old. We've
Perfect.
had her since 2023, so she's 6-ish now.
That's awesome. That's a lucky
and somebody, for whatever reason, their personal life got in the way, and so they had to take this beautiful dog to a shelter. But I'm glad she found a great home.
Yeah.
I got her for my wife. My wife had a few dogs that had passed away earlier in the year, and I got this dog for her.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I'll bet that dog loves you too, though.
Oh, definitely. The dog's very affectionate.
I wish people were more that way.
They can be if you treat them with the love and respect that everybody deserves and needs. And what you'll find, and this is instructive, I was in sales and management for a long time as well, and what you'll find is people who are dedicated because they trust you, they believe in you, they believe in the work, they know that you're not going to throw them under the bus, you're going to do everything that you can to make it work for them and for the company. Sometimes it doesn't work as well as we like, but that is a personal thing. But the management side of it, Todd, I have to ask you, where did you gain your management expertise and really a whole new way of developing and leading a company?
When I graduated, I ended up in the alternative investment side of finance. And that's just a big word for hedge funds, private equity, venture capital. It's a more unusual side of finance, but it's also extremely creative. Early on, I had a manager who simply said that the standard with which you should do your work is with the care and the dedication that an owner would for his or her business. And that when you perform work at that higher level with this caring, then you're going to just naturally go places. Doors are going to open for you. And I took that to heart. I layered that on top of what I learned from my father and always treated it that way. But the other thing that was happening in that world is they're always creating new businesses or they're shutting something down. So you're always going through this process of starting something up and making it successful. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of repetition of that I was able to practice over the years and then bring with me when I bought the cleaning authority business.
That's key, repetition.
Yeah, yes, indeed. Well, and the cleaning, that seems to me to be quite a transition from being a financial guy to running a cleaning business. Did you find that to be a big transition?
It was definitely very different. what ended up happening is on Friday, March 6th, 2020, my position with the finance company I was with ended. I did what I always did. I looked around to see what my next corporate job could be. I looked around to see what was available to buy. And third, what could I start? I spotted the cleaning business for sale on a business broker website, and it was right here in my backyard. So I showed it to my wife. I go, oh, look, hon, look at this. She said, a cleaning business, a cleaning business. So with that glowing endorsement of my idea, I went and bought it. Now she's making the daily deposits. A cleaning business.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes when a door closes, another door opens, and it doesn't. At the end of the day, and I'd love your opinion on this. It doesn't matter what the business is; it's how you treat and create the culture within that business that can be successful. Would that be kind of the truth?
That is absolutely true. A lot of people think that they have to be in some high finance position in order to have a successful life or to live comfortably. But many of these people who are doing plumbing and heating and cooling and electrical work and that are extremely successful. And for me, on paper, it looks like a huge transition. It looks like I left corporate for the cleaning business. But what I was really doing in the corporate world was we were working with bottled water vending, alarm vending, oil and gas, many, many different types of businesses as our investments.
Yeah.
And Rochelle, Todd's website again, and please, so people can go there and find out all about him. And then I have a points to ponder I want to play.
Perfect. Yes, everybody, please visit silversunconsulting.com. Write it down, keep it in your pocket, share it with somebody. There is so much to see. You really, it's crazy to think that you just decided to keep following every little breadcrumb. And I'd like to know if it felt right for you. But first, Kevin has something that we want to show you to get your idea.
Because I firmly believe that any business that involves human beings is a people business. Here's another point to ponder by Positive Talk Radio. After all these years of conversations, one truth keeps coming back. Every business is a people business. Behind every company, every brand, every decision, there are people trying to do their very best, trying to lead well, trying to stay connected, trying to grow without losing themselves or each other. When people flourish, everything else follows. Teams become stronger, leadership becomes clearer, and purpose becomes real. That belief is why Positive Talk Radio exists. To create space for real conversations, to amplify voices that lead with heart and intention, to remind us that at the center of every success story is a human one. That is where transformation begins. And when I want to take you back to when you decided to buy the cleaning business and your wife said, huh? And then you did it anyway. And then you walked into the facility in the first day as the brand new owner, and you began to see things that were kind of startling to you as to how it was being run. And then after a period of time, I'm sure you had people say, wow, this is new. They're not treating us the same way with the lack of respect that the previous people did. And maybe this is something that I can sink my teeth into. Did that happen for you?
Oh, absolutely it did. I walked in and when I saw them lecturing all of the teams every morning, when I bought it, it would have said that we had 32, maybe 34 employees. We were lucky if 22 would show up on a day. There was high turnover with the cleaners. They were scrambling to always keep the teams staffed. There was high turnover with the customers. I took a look at it and thought, oh my God, how did the prior owner ever grow it to the size it was with this? And I started saying, just stop. Don't do that. Stop to my managers, because they were saying no and don't, and you did this wrong and you did that wrong. I just said, stop. Tell them what we need from them. Tell them what the customer asks us to do. Flip everything around. Stop saying no and don't. Because if you think about it, every single sign in the world around us is telling us not to do something, not to go somewhere, and telling us what the consequences are. I said, tell them what the rewards are if you do what the customer asks us to do. So I had to change my manager's thinking. And it required a few of these conversations where I get the managers together in a group and go, the prior owner has left the building. We don't do things that way. We don't treat people that way anymore. We treat them with dignity and respect.
Yeah.
If they choose to behave like children, then so be it. But we're going to lift them up to our level and treat them respectfully, professionally, and show them that we care about who they are. Once a couple of months later, we started adding bonuses to it. Things changed literally within 6 weeks. We had to get through this initial skeptical period where the cleaners were saying, is this for real? Do they mean that? I get a bonus for doing the work I'm asked to do? First couple of teams got bonuses, then suddenly everybody wanted bonuses, and the culture changed almost overnight.
That is a brilliant strategy, because, and I wanted to bring this up, especially in the cleaning business, which is a very blue collar business, meaning that the people that you hire are they can be viewed as less than because perhaps their education isn't all that great, their language skills may not be that great, or whatever it is, and to change the attitude of the managers from working with people rather than an employee who is less than, that must have been quite the challenge for you.
Well, I kept working through the managers, because the managers came into the business themselves as cleaners. They knew what it was like to be in the trenches. So if I could change the managers' thought patterns and their behavior, then we could collectively flow that out into the cleaners that were the heart of the business. They're the ones that, let's face it, they go out and scrub the toilets.
Yep.
And they get your stoves and kitchens clean too. So that was my focal point. And the managers ended up over time getting it and internalizing it. And I could tell they were getting it when they started suggesting things that we could do to change and improve the culture inside the walls of the business. They literally went and pulled down all the signs that said no and don't, and put up signs that said what the rewards are for delivering a good quality clean, and positive motivational things. They were the ones who suggested that we celebrate birthdays and anniversaries, and a lot of women work in the cleaning business, baby showers, and we did all that. And we set a tone. That's the culture. We care about you. We see you. We see you as who you are.
And Rochelle, you're young, but you've had a bunch of jobs over time. Have you ever worked for a company that had that kind of an attitude?
Yes and no. Things were kind of backwards, and thank you for asking that, because Todd, I don't really understand still maybe what happened besides ego, maybe a little bit, but I was introduced to a family friend that owned a cleaning business. They were awesome people. They would go above and beyond. At first, they were letting me use their extra vehicle so that I could go drive and go do these cleans. I was willing to go on my own. A lot of times, girls will go in teams, maybe 3 or 4, depending on the size of the house and all those things. But I went out and did a lot on my own. But then something happened, and I can't pinpoint it, but it was around the time that maybe everything was finally good in their business. I had heard about some ups and downs, and girls were kind of in and out, but through these 4 months, we were solid. But then something changed, and I would come in the morning, and we were being told, it was just more negative things, kind of like, make sure that we're not doing this, make sure you're avoiding this. It wasn't really as positive, and they loved to motivate us, but then it became about, like, it felt, let's make us more money type of thing. And then they'd be like, oh, well, we're going to cancel those 2 jobs on those 2 days, and you guys have to work these days because we're going to take a vacation. I think maybe it was right before that point, and then when that happened, everyone was like, oh no. And the day I quit, 4 people followed me out the door, which I later learned, and I kind of felt bad because I had some sort of relationship between these people, but something happened right when everything got super good and they lost absolutely everything. And it was kind of just a unfortunate situation that was out of my control, but I loved doing my job, and then I hated it one day.
Something changed there at the ownership level. And what you're talking about is they had a good culture, but maybe it didn't really run all the way through to the real core of who they were and how they really cared about the people, is what it might be. I can only speculate, I can only guess. But you're describing a switch back to this old command and control structure. Do this, don't do that. And what we see so often today is just, we throw crumbs as a society, we throw crumbs at the employees who do all the work. The owners keep the lion's share, or the investors get the lion's share of the profits.
Yeah.
That's where so many people are so disconnected from their jobs. They don't feel seen, they don't feel heard, they certainly don't feel valued. They see no connection between doing a good job for a client today and the reward that I get at the end of the quarter or at the end of the year.
Yeah.
That's why I tried to make it immediate and a direct connection. So the cleaners, how do they get bonus? Well, if Mrs. Smith tells us that the team did a good job, they get money on their next paycheck on Friday. If Mrs. Smith goes and leaves us a positive Google review, they get more money on their paycheck. They see the connection between, I did a good job for Mrs. Smith, and the business is saying thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we had to put real tangible rewards behind it for a number of reasons. First of all, people who scrub toilets for a living live paycheck to paycheck. An extra $25 or $50 or $100 on their paycheck is life-changing money.
Yes.
We also live in a world where talk is cheap. And trying to really make it mean something by saying thank you, and let me show you I mean thank you. Here is a reward.
Yeah. I noticed the difference too, Todd, was in something changed with the tips. It wasn't about, I think now that I realize it, they were probably running out of money for some sort of reason because they had other things personally in their lives they were spending money on. But it was it wasn't about us going out to see how much we could make out of our value for tips for the day. And then they started to be combined with who you were with through the day. And then money was going missing, or somebody got a different amount than another person that did the same job and things like that. Because even that money, Todd, getting a good tip, and not having to wait for that paycheck and having everybody come back in that office and be like, oh my God, this person decided that they were extra happy today. And also it created big battles between the customers and the owners. So us as cleaners would be in the homes and they would be talking to us, talking badly about our boss. And when that started to circle, it spiraled like within 4 days that week. Nothing was the same. So I see how it takes that one little pebble to let everything kind of start to fall through.
It sounds like there was something else going on in their life.
Of course, yes.
And they
good
were
learning lesson, though.
They were using they might have been using the cleaning business to help themselves solve another problem in their life.
Right.
Because a well-run cleaning business is profitable.
Yeah. Well, it can really be. And by the way, Todd, I want to introduce someone to you who is very near and dear to us here. He is in he's in Africa. He is in Kenya. And I wanted to mention him.
Hi, Samuel. Samuel Nyandika is here to say congratulations. And Jumbo, my good people, Brother Kevin McDonald, Sister Burchelle, and guest Todd Krause receive greetings from Kaiberia Restoring Hope Center, based in the slums of Nairobi, Kenya, the largest slum in Africa. We are listening and watching this favorite program, Positive Talk Radio Show. Thanks, Team Positive Talk, for highlighting our weekly feeding program. No child goes to bed hungry. Together we are strong and one. Just so you know, Todd, he's out there doing people business work and feeding hundreds of children and their parents every Saturday and providing education and all those things. Cleaning ties into that being one of the most important things, right? If you don't have a clean atmosphere and cooking and all those other things, it ties into, like, I was one of the people who focused on my energy when I was in other people's homes. And I don't think most people really even think about that. So it was an interesting thing, Kevin.
And Todd, I want to mention this because this happened to me because I was a general manager of several restaurants, but one of the restaurants that I was general manager of, I had a different management style in that I treated everyone with respect and kindness and worked for them to be the best that they could be because they could make more money by providing better service. The cooks could make more money by creating better food. The dishwashers by making sure that the dishes were clean. And I was a mid-level manager, but I had a district sales manager that said, and I quote, "Why are you so nice to these people?"
Oh, gosh. Why wouldn't you want to be nice to the people? First of all, it just makes life so much easier.
In my world, this team of mine, this restaurant staff, would go bend over backwards to make sure that the customer was taken care of because we were clear that the customer is king. And we wanted to make sure that and I got it through to them that they would make more money. But the district manager thought, well, why are you being nice to them? They're just cogs in the wheel. And they didn't understand that when I lost it, as an example, if I lost a bartender, somebody would walk in and say, "Hey, where's Jolene?" And somebody would say, she left. She went down the street. Okay, see ya. And then he would go down the street because that's who the people that are in contact with the customer are the people that represent the company in total. They don't care about the management team. Is that your philosophy?
I'm agreeing with what you say. These frontline people, even though they aren't always highly paid, are our ambassadors for our business to our customers. So I always use this example of plumbers. You have plumber A who's just a cog and treated like a cog, and he shows up to fix a leak in your house. His uniform could be cleaner, shoes could be little cleaner too. The tools are a little iffy. Tracks footprints all over your house. He does fix your problem, but he leaves pieces of pipe and a puddle of water and stuff behind and hands you a bill on the way out. Or plumber B, who is valued, is seen, is heard, feels like somebody cares. Nice, neat, pressed uniform, shoes are clean, but he puts on shoe covers before he steps into your house. He fixes your leak. He cleans the utility area. There aren't scraps of pipe left over. There isn't a puddle. It's neat, it's clean. Yes, he'd like to get paid too. Hands you the bill. Which one are you going to recommend to your family and your friends, your neighbors? Who are you going to call next time? Who are you going to rave about when you leave a Google review?
All about experience.
The guy who takes the time to put covers on his shoes to make sure that he picks up after himself and he does everything. Todd, I've got a real quick a story to tell you about that. Where I live, I had a furnace, and the furnace stopped working. And so I called the company that I'd heard about on the TV, and Marshawn Lynch was their spokesperson and all of that. And so they came out, and the guy took the cover off, and there was a switch that I didn't know about. And the switch was turned off. So he turned the switch on, and the thing started right up. So he came to my house and he turned the switch, and then he gave me a bill for $500.
Ouch.
That is the last time that those people are going to darken my door, because what he could have done was say, well, I've got this, I've got a travel fee that they make me charge and stuff. But all I did is turn on a switch. So I'm going to charge you the minimum that I can. And they could have kept a customer rather than make $500 on the front end and then lose. Because then 2 years later, I bought a new furnace.
Yep.
That was $9,000. Did I go through them? No.
But you also didn't have them do your regular checkups and servicings in the spring and the fall either.
Nope.
So they lost the recurring revenue.
Yep.
And that's what businesses just don't get, is the lifetime value of a customer, or the lifetime value of a cleaning team. If the cleaning team brings in, say, $4,000 a week times 52, there's a couple $100,000 a year. A team's worth a lot to a business, to keep them and to have them be a happy team that cares about their work. A customer themselves paying a couple $100 every couple of weeks is worth $5,000 a year in recurring revenue. But if it was just your switch example, that would be a great time for them to say, you know what, it was a simple fix. It was our pleasure to help you out. Mm-hmm. But we'd love to take care of you in the future, no charge. You would be the most loyal customer, and you would be telling everybody how wonderful they are and they should use that company.
Yep. And now in 180 countries around the world, they know about a heating company that screwed up and stuff. But that happens more often than because for some reason customers are not valued by the people, but they should be. Michelle?
Yeah, I think it's mind-boggling for me even now, because it really comes down to respect. But then also following that through is thinking about how that voice inside people's head. Todd, you change the way that they talk to themselves while they're at work. And then when they get home, when they're coming in the morning, when they're on their way getting coffee, and maybe somebody cuts them off in traffic, instead of losing their forbidden mind and then coming in even more outraged, they decided to just let him get past and continue on listening to some good music and still got to work probably on time. The difference you're making, not just in the whole, but in each individual person, because they start respecting themselves and taking honor and having integrity and passion and purpose in probably everything they do, not just cleaning. And then I tell you what, when I was feeling that way and I get home and clean my own house, oh man, I felt like I was living in a castle. And did you just like see maybe more sparky energy even at the end of the day when they were coming back from doing jobs?
Absolutely. And once we changed the culture inside the walls of the business, they stopped being grumpy in the morning. They
Yeah.
came to work laughing and joking around. They would get their equipment and leave to go take care of the customers. And the customers were commenting on it. Oh, I just love it when the team comes because they're so happy, they're so upbeat.
Mhm.
Then they come back to the office to drop off their equipment at the end of the day, and they're still laughing and having a good time. What we did is we changed it from doing a job to providing a service.
Mhm.
They're still cleaning. They're still making sure toilets sparkle and sinks and everything,
Yes.
but we're servicing customers.
Yeah.
We're not just doing a job.
Well, and it made a big difference too when with even it's not just it became a lot of goofing off, right? Because then it was just like, oh, everything's just it went from everything being so not serious to trying to switch everything to serious. And I just think that you found the middle of that line so beautifully. So people still know they need to come to work and do a good job and care about that, but have fun with it and not everything be so serious. You're not going to get mad at them for laughing about something. I've walked into so many jobs and why are you guys laughing over there? And it's like, ooh, you know, oh, my bad. I just won't be in a good mood then. So I really love that you found that within your team. I bet they love having you.
And Todd, Todd, I was just going to say it's leadership is, and I know that in your consulting firm you talk a great deal about leadership and taking care of people and being kind and considerate, but also expecting a job to be well done, and that gives people a little bit of pride in what they're doing as well. So I wanted to play this thing on leadership, but before we do that, Rochelle, if somebody wants to talk to Todd and his team about working with them to change the culture in your business, which in his business that he bought was a $350,000 drop to the bottom line, which is no small peanuts. And your wife was taking money to the bank, and I'm sure she just loved it every day.
Reminds me of that song. I got money in the bank. Show me what you think. Yes, I love that. Everybody know you can visit silversunconsulting.com and you can find more out and even contact right in the top right corner. It says contact us. Make sure you're checking it all out. And just to confirm with you, Todd, you're helping people in many different angles with many different businesses and different approaches, right? Not just the cleaning world.
Correct. I am. It applies broadly to many businesses.
Perfect.
Well, at the end of the day, like we said earlier, it's a people business, and it doesn't matter what you are doing. You're still working with people, but you need good leadership to make it work. I'd love your opinion on this piece. Here are some points to ponder from Positive Talk Radio. You know, some say leadership is about getting the work done, about pushing forward, no matter the cost. But what's the cost of a team with no purpose? What if a single act of support, a single moment of genuine grit could change everything? What if leadership was a catalyst? Because true leadership isn't about being in control. It's about empowering others to find their purpose. It's about leading with passion and igniting the fire in everyone around you, creating a culture of teamwork and common purpose. A true leader finds this culture by enthusiastic purpose and team development, making each team member feel empowered to create, improve, and execute their tasks with genuine passion and a strong belief in the company's mission and focus. In other words, lead with purpose. And Todd, I'd love your opinion on that piece.
I think you've been listening to one of my keynote speeches, because you have two of the four pillars in that little piece right there. And I used the LEAD acronym: let go, empower, align, and develop. So you have to, leaders let go of things and let people rise up and demonstrate what they're capable of. But we have to empower them. We have to give them the ability to actually do it, the responsibility and the keys that they need to do it. We want them to be aligned with our goals for the business. And then we develop them so they have more capability in the future. And that's the LEAD framework.
Mhm.
So what is leadership? It's really moving obstacles out of the way so people can be what they're capable of being, and they can rise up and grow. That's leadership.
And finding managers from the rank and file of your business who understand your business, and that gives everybody the understanding and the idea that if I do my job well, I could get promoted too. Isn't that part of it?
There's absolutely. There's nothing more discouraging than working hard and have somebody else brought in above you. And they say, oh, wait a minute, what about me?
Yeah.
Why can't I qualify for that management job? There's very motivating to promote from within.
Yeah.
Todd, I've actually heard managers say, well, he does such a good job at what he's doing. We can't replace him doing what he's doing, so we can't promote him. So we'll bring somebody else in so that he can keep doing. But isn't that really demotivating somebody?
You're going to lose that person eventually. It is
Yeah.
demotivating. As soon as you do that to somebody, they're updating their resume and they're looking to see what their next opportunity might be.
Yeah.
Well, then if he went on and you had him go into management and train 5 more people to do that good at that job. It's like, why would you stunt yourself if you see that in other people? But I think it takes seeing it in yourself too. Like when you worked and you started with those managers, you probably didn't have people coming to you down the line and saying, I don't know what I'm doing, or I don't know how to do this, or my manager, blah, blah, blah. The people that were being trained by the managers who were now leaders, everybody is a leader. It's not about, oh, well, they're a manager and they just scrub toilets and they only do office work and they only do all the paperwork. It's each person is a leader in everything that they do, but it's all together. And that truly makes the difference. Did you see that play out with your own people?
It definitely played out. It was a process of helping them discover their ability to lead. When first my managers came to me and said, oh, Todd, we have a problem. What do we do? And I say, well, we could do X or we could do Y. And we discuss them. Then after a while, they'd come to me and say, Todd, we have a problem. We think we could do X or we could do Y. We discuss why we would choose one or the other. Then the third level of development was they come to me and say, Todd, we had a problem. We did X. We go, okay, and we talk about that. Now we're at the fourth level of leadership. Silence. Occasionally they come to me and they say, Todd, we had a problem and we think it's one that you would want to know about, but we already took care of it and this is what we did. I'm going,
that's sound leadership.
Yeah.
Do you know how much that cleared off of my desk to focus on other things and helping people?
You can depend on them.
And one of the things that you say on your website, and we want to talk about that as well, is that when you are putting out fires all day and it's 6 o'clock at night and you're still putting out fires, and that you're not running a company, you buy yourself a long job that you're working 60, 70, 80 hours trying to hold it together. And there's a better way. There's a better way, and Todd, he works with people to learn that better way. So go to his website, because I'd like to say that this your style of training people to how to run their companies in a more holistic and um, conscious and systematic way of creating a culture. I would like to say that that's really common. I'm afraid to say that it's not, and that's why your company and what you do, Silversun Consulting, is so important, because you can help companies run better, and you're changing lives in the process. I think that's awesome.
Maybe saving lives by saving jobs.
Well, we're saving jobs, we're transforming lives, and that's something that's just really rewarding to be a part of, to actually make it happen. We're so caught up in technology and this idea that AI is going to do everything for us. We really are forgetting something that you've said throughout this entire show. It's about the people. Businesses exist because there's people, and people need goods and services.
Exactly. And I just was listening to something just yesterday. And at one point, Facebook fired thousands of people because they were going to replace them with AI. And so, and the leadership came back to the people and said, well, you know what? We're not getting the results that we thought we were going to get with AI. So I guess we're going to need the people and stuff. So they're learning the hard way that people run businesses, not computers.
That is absolutely correct. People run businesses, not computers.
Yeah, that's a good point, Kevin. And also on his website, which is again silversunconsulting.com. That's sun in the sky, SUN, silversunconsulting.com. You can click on the books tab as well, and he's got a book called Life's Ironies. Can you tell us a little bit about that so people can check that out as well? Did I glitch? Am I here? Todd, can you hear me? I think it might be because of the dogs.
Yeah.
Yes, somebody came to the door and the dogs are barking again.
They're like, Dad, they're here.
And that's perfectly okay, Todd. We love dogs and
well, and his voice
stuff.
comes through way better than over the barking, so I think we should be good.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that. Thank you. So
Yes.
please repeat the question.
Yes, just asking about your book you have on your website, which is Life's Ironies. If you want to tell us a little bit about that.
I wrote it because people kept asking me, well, how did you get to where you are? There's a tendency in our world to assume that somehow somebody who achieved some success in some areas, that they're different, that they're somehow superhuman people and don't have problems in their lives, don't have illnesses or anything like that. And I wrote it to say, no, every single one of these people who are in leadership positions have had their challenges. They've risen up from somewhere. They started oftentimes in very, very humble beginnings.
Yes.
So I talk about all of my health problems. I talk about all of the things that have happened to me along the way, some of which, if things had turned out differently, you and I would not be having this conversation. I talk about when I fell off this face of the South Bluff at Devil's Lake State Park, northwest of Madison, Wisconsin, and a tree saved me from falling into the boulder field at the bottom of the face of the bluff. I talk about a time that I dumped my motorcycle over in front of a semi and walked away from all of these things with just bumps and bruises. So there's crazy things like that in there. But then I also talk about having an immune deficiency and what that was like, finding out that I had it, and the treatment, which will be lifelong, because it's simply my immune system doesn't produce antibodies. So I live on borrowed antibodies from people who are willing to go to plasma donation centers and donate plasma. Our big pharmaceutical companies pull that apart and make 24 types of medicine from donated plasma. And one of them is what I use to stay healthy.
Wow. That's incredible.
And
You
is,
know,
you know, and that's the interesting thing, Todd, is we all have got challenges, and it's how you decide that you're going to deal with those challenges. And you have worked very hard to rise up through them and not have them be an excuse for why you couldn't do things. You said, I have this and I'm going to do it anyway. Would I be correct in that, sir?
Yeah, I just had this burning desire to make a difference in the world around us, a difference for the people who are working for companies, and to show the owners of the companies that you can actually be more successful with a different culture. And that's what I'm doing on a daily basis now.
Congratulations for that. And Burchell, his company website again is
yes, silversunconsulting.com. That's sun like in the sky, SUN. Silversun Consulting, you can find on lots of things. Keep in mind, he's a speaker as well. So if you want to have him come speak, he's got some TEDx speaking things you can check out, seen on ABC, CBS, NBC, CW, Fox, and TEDx. Really just creating extraordinary things. Kevin, I don't know when we're going to find it out, but I do think that some people have this grit in them, as you explained so well, that just things are going to happen. And are you going to keep going or are you going to stop? And some of us, we just don't stop. and we're the ones who can teach people that they can have that too. Because we gotta bring us all along. It's not about, oh well, I can do it and you can't, and that sucks. You just whatever. Give somebody a chance. If they don't want to learn, fine, whatever. Don't force them. I know that that's like too, but if somebody wants to learn and you have the knowledge, sharing it changes both of you, don't you think?
Absolutely, it does. It enriches both of you.
Yeah.
I,
Not more to
it makes everything it enriches your life and understanding. I'll give you a real quick example. I've got because of the team that we have, I have 15 people that depend upon me and this show to live, and that is a legacy that I'm so proud of, because it means that we're taking care of people, and you want to talk about loyalty, Todd? My team will jump through walls for me because they know that I care, and that is a big deal for people, don't you think?
it is. It makes all the difference between just doing a job and bringing your heart and soul to work and doing it with care.
Yeah.
Bring that extra mile.
And congratulations on everything that you're doing. And that the cool thing is, and this is what you're doing with Silversun, is that you are now going to, if somebody is open, and if you're a business owner and you are open to changing the way you're doing business, if your turnover is high, if your productivity isn't right, if your call-in sick rate is high, that can all change. It's not that, oh, the people that I hire are just not very good, or there aren't very many good people in this area. It's how you treat them. And if you treat them well, but sometimes you need somebody like Todd and his team to come in and to show you there's a better way. Would that be true, sir?
Absolutely, it is true. There is a better way, and you'll be amazed by the results you get.
Well, and Todd, I really, really just am curious on, do people come to you and they think maybe they have a lack of confidence because it is scary, right? You're putting yourself on the line with any business. Same with just waking up every morning, I suppose. But do you meet people and help them realize that they have the answers, or they maybe have the knowledge, they just aren't trusting in themselves? So they just need somebody to tell them to trust themselves?
There's definitely an element of that. There's also the element of people who come and they'll say, I'm not growing and I don't know why. I've got high turnover and I'm having trouble fixing it. So I fix their business problems and install the culture that really takes them over the top to success they never dreamed of.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping, Todd, that you're not getting a lot of pushback from when you work with people, because your way is the best way. And changing culture into one of inclusivity, there you go, inclusivity and working together as a team with passion and developing a real purpose around what you're doing. Those are big deals, and they change people, and they change lives. And congratulations for doing that.
Oh, thank you.
That's a big deal. And we need to talk more about this, because I believe this is one of the premier moments in time when then people are going to be open to this change, not because they're being Mr. Nice Guy, but it's more successful.
It is. It really brings more success with less effort.
And who wouldn't want to have more success with less effort? I think that would be if you are a business owner and you're working 80 hours a week, because all you've done is buy yourself a job. But if you change it correctly and follow what Todd will tell you to do, it can change, and then it becomes you now become a business owner, and you're not just buying an 80-hour-a-week job, and then you go home and kick the dog. That's no fun.
No,
let's not do that. Let's not have any dog kicking.
Yeah. It's really just about saying yes, giving yourself permission, trying something new, and being safe rather than sorry. So many people aren't willing to even try to learn something because they don't understand it. But once you learn it and you engage it, it's like, oh, wait, hold on, Todd, this makes sense. You're onto something. And maybe people just don't know that they can give themselves that permission without someone having to tell them how to change it. They can figure it out for themselves.
There's a certain element of trust that's involved too.
Oh, yeah.
Trusting that these people have ability to do more than just a job, that they can help grow the company.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal. And Todd, sadly, we've run out of time, but Rochelle, you get to take us out.
Yes. Well, Kevin, thank you so much for being such a great leader so that we can sit and have these conversations. And Todd, Krause, thank you so much for your time, your expertise, and all of the opportunities you have brought to our audience. Make sure everybody silversunconsulting.com, Silversun Consulting, SUN. You can check that out, get a hold of him, take a look at some things, maybe even just play one of the TEDx videos for people and cut that hour out of work. Let them sit down, rest, and just have some good, positive thought and listen to it yourself. That's kind of the point too. Turning everybody into leaders and teaching people that if they try, they can achieve anything they set their mind to. Todd, is there any other ways people can connect to you and get a hold of you? And any last word you'd like to let our audience know?
First of all, for the business owners out there, success is within reach. Greater profits and growth are not that far away. So don't give up. Ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
There's no shame in asking for help. As far as contacting me, on my website, it has my personal email, and it has a phone number that's going to ring right here. I do answer my phone. Call me. I'll get your business growing for you. Kevin and Rochelle, it's been such an honor to be on your show. Thank you so much.
Well, and you're changing lives, and that is the highest calling that there is, Todd. And you're changing lives, you're changing culture, and the ripple effect goes far beyond a single employee. It goes to the entire organization and their home life, and it's just amazing. So, and thank you so much for being here. You're awesome, dude.
Thank you.
Keep doing what you do, everybody. Please understand that it is your strength when you're able to ask for help. Todd cares. He wants to help you, and he understands that maybe you're just a step away from success, so don't give up yet. Keep trying, spread your wings, and if you fall, he'll be there to catch you. So thank you so much, Todd, for spending this time with us, and we'll see you until next time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being part of Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald, where stories inspire and voices remind us of what truly matters. May today's conversation give you hope, courage, and a reason to keep moving forward. And just remember, till next time, be kind